are watching NTA, Nigerian Television Authority. For more information and news updates, visit our website at www.nta.ng, or you can follow us on Twitter at NTA News Now, or you can like us on Facebook at NTA Network News. Stay connected on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/NTA News Online. Watch our live stream at www.nta.ng/live. NTA, you can't beat the rich.
Hello. The quality of being patriotic can only be felt in someone's vigorous support and loyalty to his or her country. When that quality gets missing, what you get are social and economic vices. One of such vices is smuggling, rice smuggling to be precise, and that's in our file tonight. Good evening and welcome to the place to be on a Saturday evening, and we thank you for choosing to stay with us as Weekend File begins right now. Rice smuggling business is practiced at the land borders, especially the notorious dusty and ever-bustling Seme town, where the highest volume of trade and large rice smuggling opportunities exist, perhaps because of its easier access to Lagos, the nation's commercial nerve center. The quantity of rice that comes into Nigeria illegally through land borders is quite huge, more so coming from the nations that are not major rice producers. Some rice traders and importers say the trend worsened because of increase in tariff on imported rice, as many dealers now resort to smuggling the product. And on a more analytical note, some believe that rice smuggling was an immediate consequence of decades of neglect of the agricultural sector and the unquenchable appetite of Nigerians for foreign goods, including rice. The Nigeria Customs Service in October 2016 reiterated government's ban on rice importation through land borders as a first major step towards checking the nefarious activities of smugglers. How can this policy impact on smuggling? It has been reported that rice worth billions of dollars meant for Nigerian market are stocked in various warehouses in Benin Republic, while rice seizures have also been reported by the Nigeria Customs Service. Let's put all of this into perspective tonight on your weekend companion, the Weekend File. And the news segment will always come first. My name is Kirin Umayo. The news of the day, soccer has come the way of the people of Aba as construction of Aba-Port Harcourt Federal Road has been flagged off after 16 years of abandonment. Abia State Governor Okezie Ikpeazu, in one voice with his counterpart, Ebonyi State Governor Dave Umahi, performed the ceremony. Comfort Ayem reports.
Appointment of the Spirit of God and by the hands of God who conceived this in the heart of our governor, we hereby flag off the 6-lane road, Port Harcourt Road, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Speaking on his motivation after the flag off of the reconstruction of 6-lane road project, Governor Okezie Ikpeazu, accompanied by his counterpart Governor Dave Umahi of Ebonyi State, who also came with over 20 state ESCO members, said the road project is in fulfillment of his campaign promises. The governor, who spoke in his mother tongue, also explained that he chose to work with Dave Umahi, who he described as the best engineer in the southeast.
He's not concerned just about government, he's concerned about the private sector. He told me he has invited the Chinese to take empirical evaluation of all the industries.
Contractors handling the project were equally on hand to deliver in less than 1 year and 6 months. The road project, when completed, is expected to have street lights, adequate drainage system and concrete pavement, among others. Meanwhile, representatives from the 17 local government areas alongside busy traders on hearing the information converged on the federal road to witness the flag-off ceremony.
For over 16 years, this road has not been used. All that has happened to them, let it come to reality. Let God perfect it.
The traders and all of us enjoy the road. This is the only linking road that will link to township.
The Aba-Port Harcourt Federal Road, since 16 years of abandonment, has been an obstacle to the free flow of movement and has also reduced the volume of socio-economic activities noted with the commercial city. In Aba, Comfort Ayim, NTA News.
Proper orientation of energy consumers in policy implementation in the power sector remains key for economic recovery and growth. Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola, gave the indication when he was presented a book titled Power Sector under President Muhammadu Buhari, authored by Uche Aneke. Justin Bem Unyi has that report.
The book, Power Sector under President Muhammadu Buhari, is described as an eye-opener to the strategic efforts of the Buhari administration to fix power in the country. Presenting the book to the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, the author, Uche Aneke, says it is an educative work on developments in the sector anchored on good governance of the administration's commitment to improve power.
It is also one of my humble ways of promoting government initiatives and development in the power sector.
Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, described the piece as an instructive and helpful material for Nigerians to be educated on power sector reform efforts at growing the economy.
This book is a very important contribution to one of the objectives of this administration, which is to make the knowledge about electricity as simple as possible to the ordinary people, to bring it down to street level.
The 18-chapter and 87-page book also captures the efforts of the Minister of Power, Works and Housing in bringing Mr. President's change agenda in the power sector into reality. In Abuja, Justin Bem Unyi, NTA News.
In a clear effort to further the Niger Delta New Vision policy of the Buhari administration, the presidency has directed the resumption of activities towards the eventual opening of the Nigerian Maritime University before the end of the year, in line with the demands championed by major stakeholders in the region. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity in the Office of the Vice President, Laolu Akonde, says the directive is coming as one of the several follow-up actions to the recent presidential-level interactive engagement with the Niger Delta oil-producing communities. The prompt implementation of directive on the reopening of the Maritime University to the Minister of Education is to be coordinated by a 5-man interagency committee headed by the Minister of Education, Adamu. The committee is to finalize the ongoing processes towards the opening of the Nigerian Maritime University in the 2017-2018 academic session. The committee will work collaboratively with the current principal officers of the Governing Council of the institution. While reiterating its unalloyed commitment to a new vision for the Niger Delta, the statement says President Buhari has been working assiduously to evolve a number of robust strategies for key multi-sectoral outcomes and deliverables for the people of the oil-producing communities. Now, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed says the Memorandum of Understanding signed between the National Council for Arts is a demonstration of the current administration's determination to support artists in the country to grow as they move in designs to create 200,000 jobs. The minister said this when he received the MOU document from the Director General of the National Council for Arts and Culture, Otumba Olusegun Ronsewe. Anthony Forson reports.
The National Council for Arts and Culture has signed a 300 million naira memorandum of understanding with the Bank of Industry as loanable funds for Nigerian artists. This, the Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed says, is the beginning of bigger achievements.
I'm reliably informed that top on the list of the benefits that will accrue from this landmark MOU, that it will create over 200,000 jobs for the sector. And it's in line with one of the cardinal programs of this administration.
He encouraged states of the Federation to take advantage of the loan facility to support the growth of the sector, which has been dwarfed by lack of access to funding. The ministry, he said, has signed a number of MOUs with international and local partners in a bid to provide the necessary environment for the private sector to show more than passing interest.
It's always been my desire that this sector should be activity-driven with specific goals and demonstrable achievements. It is therefore not an exaggeration to describe the signing of this MOU as a right step in the right direction.
The Director General, National Council for Arts and Culture, Otumba Olusegun Ronsewe, told the minister that the idea is to energize the federal government's economic diversification policy.
The narratives of Nigeria have changed because this MOU is going to create a lot of jobs.
The minister used the opportunity to decorate some journalists and staff of the ministry with the logo, Our Culture, Our Pride. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
The Brazilian Minister of Agriculture has pledged to support Nigeria's agricultural institutions with modern researches to boost agricultural activities in the country. This came up at a meeting with Nigerian delegation and Brazilian government officials in Brasilia, as Musa Babali reports.
Brazil is today among the world exporters of agricultural produce, as it is exporting produce and products worth over $60 billion annually. It got to this stage through investment in agricultural research and innovations in crop and livestock production.
We export to Europe, we export to US.
Nigeria is therefore looking at the possibility of learning from the Brazilians to achieve its objectives of becoming one of the world major exporters of agricultural produce. This necessitates the meeting between the Nigerian and Brazilian ministries of agriculture.
We don't have enough beef at home, so it's something to look into, but we are trying to deal with the crisis now of herdsmen walking through the farms and eating up crops. Because our indigenous cattle population is less than 20 million. The quality of the beef could be better. So it's something we'll look into when we get back. To increase not only cooperation but commerce, we'll do that.
We would be very pleased to increase the level of protein of the nutritional condition in Nigeria.
The Minister of Agriculture, Adu Ogbe, also led the Nigerian delegation at a meeting with officials of the Bank of Brazil. The minister encouraged them to have faith in Nigeria as the country obtains loan facility from their country.
And that's why we came to talk with you today. See how you will empower this program. And assure you that if you do empower the program, that you'll have no cause to regret, because we will pay back. We have demands of things to sell to the rest of the world, if only we can produce them.
It was agreed at the meeting that the two countries should strengthen bilateral trade for the benefit of all. From Sao Paulo, Brazil, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
And the Minister of State Foreign Affairs, Khadija Abba Bukar Ibrahim, says Nigeria is willing to partner with Japan in the reconstruction of the northeast ravaged by Boko Haram insurgency. To that extent, the Japanese government has promised a $23 million investment to improve the lives of the internally displaced persons in that region. Gabriel Udu reports.
Nigeria and Japan established diplomatic relations in 1960, immediately after Nigeria's independence. The visit of the Japanese delegation to Nigeria, the Minister of State Foreign Affairs, Khadija Abba Ibrahim, says is an indication of strong economic and political ties between the two countries.
The Nigeria-Japan partnership is indeed a welcome development. There have been huge investments in Nigeria in the automobile industry, and we're hoping that soon enough there will be more investments, as this administration is very particular about diversifying the economy.
Meanwhile, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Foreign Affairs, met with Iranian delegation with discussions on trade, mining, oil and gas, animal husbandry and agriculture.
The volume of trade, like you said, which had gone down from the peak of 20 million to just about 1.9 million. Of course, we would have to double our efforts to ensure that we go beyond the 20 million and meet the target.
The Iranian delegation promised to inaugurate a trade center in Nigeria and smooth all MOUs ahead of the 6th Nigerian-Iran Joint Commission in Tehran. In Abuja, Gabriel Udu, NTA News.
The Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Malam Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, says the NTA will provide scholarships to internally displaced persons currently undergoing training at the NTA Television College in Jos. He said this when he visited the college to assess the level of training given to the IDPs. Ndianga Ndiabagyang has the report.
102 internally displaced persons from Borno State are undergoing a rehabilitation training at the NTA Television College, Jos. The training will focus on television production, expose them to video and still camera operations. The Director General, Malam Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, said the training initiated by the NTA and supported by the National Commission for Refugees and Internally Displaced Persons is part of federal government's determination to integrate the IDPs back into the society.
Each time we organize a training program, the best 5 will be given automatic scholarship to come into the college, wait for their diploma certificates, and if they are able, they can even pursue degree courses.
The Rector, Television College Jos, Barnabas Gam, the Acting Zonal Director, NTA Network Center Jos, Nuruddin Adesina Idris, and the Program Coordinator Training of the IDPs, Dr. Teddy Hamaki, commended all key players for their various contributions to the success of the training.
I'm pleasantly surprised with the extent to which they have coped with the training.
They are very happy and they are very hardworking.
They are very quick to catch up because they are very interested.
Which we were in Borno State because of the heat and sun. We can't learn anything. But here in Jos, the weather is okay, the environment is nice.
So when we came here, it was difficult to us to operate the camera, but when we came here, it is very simple to us to operate the camera.
The training is to last 10 days. From the Television College Jos, Indewin and Yabagyang, NTA News.
The Ebonyi State Independent Electoral Commission has issued certificate of return to successful candidates in the recently concluded local government elections in that state. Uchechukwu Chubueze Idam tells us more.
Presenting the certificate to the 13th chairman-elect, the chairman of the commission, Mr. Josie Eze, maintained that aside carrying along all political parties that participated in the elections, the commission followed due process. The State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Augustine Wankwegu, while commending the governor for ensuring a level playing ground in the exercise, enjoined anyone who feels shortchanged to seek redress at the Electoral Tribunal. Out of the 7 political parties that took part in the elections, the People's Democratic Party won all the 6. Ina Bakaliki, Uchechukwu Chibezdam, NTA News.
The wife of the president, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, has reaffirmed her commitment to support women and children, particularly in education, health, and women empowerment in Nigeria. Mrs. Buhari said this in Kano during the graduation ceremony of over 2,000 women in various skills acquisition programs initiated by her Future Assured program. State House correspondent Ali Kabir reports.
The wife of the president, Aisha Muhammad Buhari, who was accompanied by the wife of the vice president, Dolapo Shinbajo, was received at the airport by the wife of the Kano State Governor, Hafsat Umar Ganduje, and proceeded to the government house, the venue of the event. 2,200 women have graduated from various skills acquisition programs ranging from fashion design, interior decoration, event management, leather work and catering, as well as cosmetics making, such as liquid wash and soap, perfumes and body spray, air freshener and hair cream, as well as spices making. While presenting the certificates to the successful graduates, the wife of the president urged them to extend the knowledge to others in ensuring that women are empowered and self-reliant. She equally promised to empower additional 2,000 women in Kano in the second phase of the program.
I wish to use this opportunity to therefore congratulate you on all these achievements. I hope that will translate to a better, more productive and fruitful life.
Excellency Mrs. Aisha Buhari, she always talks about how important it is for women to be busy and not lazy.
It is a blessed day for Kano people. She has come.
Other speakers comprising the wife of the governor of Kano State, including the instructors, assured the wife of the president of their continued support in achieving results. Highlight of the event was the presentation of 4,000 Mama K2 nursing mothers, as well as 30,000 school bags to secondary school students of the state. In the meantime, Mrs. Buhari expressed sadness over the alleged case of raping 6-month-old baby girl in Kano, who is currently receiving medical attention at the Aminu Kano Teaching Hospital. She called on all parents to be vigilant and extra careful in nursing their children. In Kano, Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
The Nigerian Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, has again warned the public that it has not announced any recruitment invitation as being peddled on the social media. A statement by the Group General Manager, Group Public Affairs Division, Ndo Oramado, said the purported NNPC recruitment announcement on social media are the handwork of fraudsters who want to deceive unsuspecting applicants. It warned the public to disregard such fake invitations, saying the corporation's mode of announcement had always been through national newspapers. It said any purported invitation on social media should be reported to security agencies. Now, the Department of State Services, DSS, says in line with its statutory mandate to investigate economic crimes of national security dimension, the service has arrested Ifeanyi Ubah, Managing Director of Capital Oil and Gas Limited. A statement by DSS spokesman Tony Opio said the arrest is sequel to Ubah's alleged engagement in acts of economic sabotage, which includes stealing, diversion, and illegal sale of petroleum products stored in his tank farm by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, the NNPC. The statement said products stolen amount to over 11 billion naira, pointing out that Ubah's act have the capacity to negatively impact on the national economy. The DSS statement noted that in furtherance of his gimmicks to undermine the government and people of Nigeria, Ubah allegedly incited members of the petroleum tanker drivers, a critical player in the downstream subsector of the petroleum industry, to stop the lifting of products. It is consequent upon this that the DSS said it arrested and will prosecute Ifeanyi Ubah in due course. The service assured Nigerians that it will continue to collaborate with appropriate agencies to ensure that mischievous activities of any person or group of persons to engage in illegal activities will not affect the effective distribution of products across the country. Abia State Governor Dr. Okezie Ikpeazu has reiterated his administration's commitment towards achieving a crime-free state. Governor Ikpeazu said this during the demolition of kidnappers' hideouts in Aba. Kelechi Okata tells us more about it.
Governor Ikpeazu, while speaking at the demolition site in Ugunabo Council area of the state, reassured Abians of adequate security with the resurgence of kidnapping in the state. The 5 demolished buildings located in Aba Omunka and Mpukwevula communities were being used to keep kidnapped victims until ransom is paid. Governor Okezie Ikpeazu further stated that his administration will not be overthrown by hoodlums, as he has deemed it fit to commence demolition of the alleged hideouts of kidnappers.
The citizens of Abia State are urged to come forth with pieces of information that nobody should allow his property or part of his premises to be used, made available for criminals. Because if that happens, the consequences will be similar to what is happening here.
Reacting to the development, Abia State Commissioner of Police Adeleye Oyebade also pledged readiness in the fight against crime, adding that government has given them all support in achieving a crime-free state.
We have the special task force now that is outside. The squad is out to confront heinous crime headlong. The government have given us all the support, including the Inspector General of Police.
In Aba, Kelechi Okata, NTA News.
And you can watch this news live online with the NTA mobile app, which you can also download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. This is Weekend File on the network service of the NTA. The nation is facing a challenge of measuring and countering enormous revenue leakages and black money gotten from rice smuggling, which has become a routine part of economic activities. Some stakeholders in rice production have expressed concern over the increased activities of rice smuggling, saying that it threatens millions of jobs that have been created by huge local investments in the nation's rice industry, but grows businesses in neighboring countries through which the act is perpetuated. The practice is hurting the economy, and government is already reacting. We have situation reports from our correspondents across the nation, and that is next on Weekend File. Don't go away.
Change does not just happen. You and I and all of us must appreciate that we all have our part to play if we want to bring change about. We must change our lawless habits, our attitude to public office, and public trust. We must change our unruly behavior in schools, hospitals, marketplaces, motor parks, on the roads, in homes and offices. To bring about change, we must change ourselves by being law-abiding citizens.
I can't believe she just rejected me and my camera.
She rejected my lights.
How can she not want makeup?
Maybe when the battery dies, she'll come back to us.
Nah, not with a 4,000 milliampere battery.
Experience the best selfies of your life. Gionee A1 Super Selfie Super Battery.
It is with joy that I've received Our Excellency's gifts.
I want to say that may God continue to bless and reward her. And so, on behalf of Garki Hospital, we're grateful.
That scenario will not happen.
The insurgency has been contained and agricultural production
is bouncing back. Nigeria is working towards food sufficiency.
So FAO, thank you for coming. We discussed we're going to need your help in expanding agriculture, in introducing new crops for local consumption and export. We need to make the rural people richer and happier than they are now.
We must become a nation where we grow what we eat and consume what we produce.
And we thank you for staying with us up to this moment on Weekend File. And now away from Weekend File, and good news for Nigeria. NTA News has reliably learnt that 82 more abducted Chibok schoolgirls have been released. We will bring you details of that report later as soon as we get official statement on that. And that's something to really cheer about. Now back to the show. With government's new focus on agriculture in efforts to diversify the economy, there has been a reported increase in rice production. However, foreign produced rice is heavily available in Nigerian markets. Most of it reported and smuggled into the country through land borders. In this report, Kolo Mohammed identifies the rice smuggling syndicate's mode of operation.
Nigeria is a major consumer and importer of rice due to the fact that it is a staple food in the country. Nigeria spends more than 356 billion naira yearly importing rice, out of which about 1 billion naira is spent per day. The country today is a net importer of rice, which adversely affects local production. Rice can be grown in all parts of the country and all species thrive. From lowland, upland to Fadama rice, yet only a little above 4 million tons is grown locally, which is grossly disproportionate to the about 7 million tons required annually. Government, in its efforts to close the gap between production and demand, placed a ban on land rice importation and introduced policies that will boost rice production. Imported rice, however, continues to flood the markets in Nigeria. Once one step into most markets, imported rice is in sight and does not seem to suffer any competition from local rice. Most dealers in imported rice claim ignorance of the executive order on the ban on rice importation through the land borders, and goes further to say most Nigerians prefer imported rice to locally grown. They also don't think activities of the rice importers hamper local production, a claim promptly countered by most farmers. With a ban in place, rice is still believed to be brought in from foreign countries like India, Brazil, and especially Thailand through land borders.
We believe they are determined to sabotage the efforts we're making to guarantee self-sufficiency in rice and to save foreign exchange, which we don't have. They insist on bringing rice through the borders, land borders, avoiding the duties and the levies we put on them. And they are definitely bent on sabotaging efforts. And we are getting increasingly unhappy with them. And I must say that very soon, if they persist, we will take measures against them. Number two, we like to advise our neighbors, some of them, who believe that the ECOWAS treaty means that Nigeria is a volunteer nation for economic suicide. We have no such plans of destroying our own economy to make any neighbor happy.
While trans-border trade in legal goods and services are okay, the ones in illicit and contraband, such as rice smuggling, are those that hamper government's effort towards making the country self-sufficient in food.
How serious is the challenge of smuggling in Lagos, and what impact is it having on Nigeria's plan for food security. Bolade Salami tried to find out in this report.
Consumption of rice in Nigeria over the years has grown to over 7 million metric tons, with only 2.7 million tons locally produced in Nigeria. This has, however, resulted to a huge gap of over 4.3 metric tons cushioned by imported rice into the country. This explains why rice importation has become a major source of revenue loss to the country. To stem this negative economic trend in Nigeria, government came up with a rice policy aimed at developing local capacity for rice production, thereby reducing the cost of rice importation. With the ban enforcement on land importation of foreign rice, it's been observed that most rice markets in Lagos still display foreign rice as against the locally produced rice.
Government says we should not patronize the smuggling rice. We have been stopping it. No local rice, and the price of local rice is too much. The least one is 17,000 local rice. Why imported is about 30,000.
One area smugglers are exploiting is the porous nature of Nigerian borders. What is the Nigerian customs doing in this regard?
We have over 10,000 bags of rice in just 3 months, 90 days.
In 90
All
days?
this you are seeing is in 90 days. That is to show you how smuggling of rice is so rampant. We are up to the task.
The government's plan is for Nigeria to have total sufficiency in rice production by the end of 2018, an achievement that is aimed at reducing import bills on foreign rice. In Lagos, Bolade Salami, NTA News.
All right now, and from Katsina, Awal Haliru reports that the smuggling of the commodity seems to be on the rise, which is, if left unchecked, will jeopardize government's renewed vigor to encourage local rice production.
Is not readily available for the tons of rice illegally imported into the country through Meadua, Jibia and Babamutum borders, but the destination of these smugglers is either Kano or Katsina. Katsina town is flooded with foreign rice, which makes it difficult for buyers to access the locally produced rice. Therefore, smugglers are having a field day by importing this commodity through an illegal route by devising various means of bringing the rice using motorcycles and old vehicles, and they operate mostly in the night. Some dealers in Katsina considered that they buy the rice from smugglers. There's also allegation that some custom officials in Katsina are conniving with smugglers in perpetrating the act. Effort to speak to the controller of custom Katsina Kaduna Command was unsuccessful, as he declined to attend to NTA News, saying he was in a hurry to attend meeting at Meadua border town. Economists urged the federal government to provide incentives to rice farmers to enable them produce rice in large quantity for both local consumption and export.
We know banning importation is to encourage local production. Government means well. The present government, the Buhari government, actually means so well for Nigeria. But again, the question is whether individuals, the custom officers, are they after the good of the country at large or after personal interest?
In Katsina, Awal Haliru reporting for Weekend File.
And our discussion segment is next. Who is our guest? Find out in a short while.
Not all washing powders are the same. Sunlight adds bursts of freshness to cleaning power to give you Sunlight 2-in-1 for sensational cleaning and freshness that lasts and lasts and lasts. Sunlight 2-in-1, sensational cleaning with burst after burst of freshness.
I can't believe she just rejected me and my camera.
She rejected my lights.
How can she not want makeup?
Maybe when the battery dies, she'll come back to us.
Nah, not with a 4,000 milliampere battery.
Experience the best selfies of your life. Gioni A1 Super Selfie Super Battery.
Issues in the sports sector remain one of the most debated among Nigerians due to the passion, followership, government involvement, impact on Nigeria's external image, and our national life in the sports parliament. The NTA offers Nigerians deep views on issues with experts in the sports sector, offering in-depth analysis, hindsight, insight, and foresight towards elevating Nigerian sports to the zenith on the floor of the sports parliament.
The benefits that accrued in school sports, it is the bedrock of any nation.
A few Nigerians wanted the status quo to continue. So I don't think we should put all Nigerians and say Nigerians don't follow the trend, because the smart ones, we are following the trend.
The National Sports Lottery Fund, shrouded in secrecy.
The fact that the Super Eagles played an NTA, not only NTA, no Nigerian broadcaster, in fact, no broadcaster anywhere in the world from our records was able to bring that match. It's a matter of concern.
Issa Hayatou was president for 29 years. He lost the election in Addis, and that's it. He's gone.
Sports Parliament, a unique platform for sports discussions, showing live on the NTA, Thursdays at 11 p.m. Keep a date with the parliamentarians.
The eyes have it. Nigerians. Suicide bombers are not spirits. They are not ghosts. They are human beings like you and me. They live amongst us. They are your neighbors. They are your friends today, but terrorists tomorrow. So you must know your neighbor now. Security begins with you and me. Know your neighbor. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me.
If you see something, say something. Nigeria, unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
You're welcome back. Now, joining me in the studio is Michael Abar, the Acting Comptroller of Enforcement at the Customs Headquarters here in Abuja. Well, thank you and welcome to the program, Mr. Abar.
Thank you and good evening, viewers.
All right, I'd like to begin this conversation actually by asking you to make an assessment of the current situation of the rice smuggling business in Nigeria since the federal government slammed a ban on the importation of rice through the land borders.
Yeah, thank you so much. Rice smuggling is of concern to the Customs Service as well as to all Nigerians, because we are conscious of the damage that is being done to the economy. So the service has taken it with all seriousness, and at that level, even the restriction of the importation to land border to seaports is to enable us cope and curtail the menace. First of all, the reason for that was that credible intelligence available to the service indicated that rice was being dumped in neighboring countries. And some of those rice are even unfit for consumption. Some have stayed in the warehouses for upward of 10 years in some Asian countries, and they are being sent to our neighboring countries with a view to smuggling them in. And we all know, we are conscious that smuggling is a worldwide phenomenon that is difficult to fight, but we are trying our best and we are on top of it. For instance, you know, Nigeria has a very large and vast borderline that is up to 4,000 kilometers. And with that, with the staff strength of the Nigerian Customs Service and the rate of modern technology, it's a doubting challenge. But our officers are up and doing. With the recent directive, since the restriction came to place, a lot of measures were put in place, and they are yielding results. I can tell you that from January to December 2016, the service has made seizure of rice to the quantity of 280,000 bags, that is 50 kg bags of rice, in 1,933 seizures nationwide. And from January to April this year, 66,000 bags of rice has been seized, and we are still working. Even today, a truckload of rice was brought to the warehouse from Kwara Axis. So what we have done is, at the area level, the area controllers have been given the marching order by the Controller General to ensure that rice smuggling is minimized to the barest minimum.
Okay, now some border communities have been accused of being neck deep into the business of smuggling. Now, what are the challenges being encountered by your men within the border communities like Seme, Katsina, and the Badagry?
Yes, thank you so much. It has been a big challenge to us because I believe the border communities are supposed to see us as partners. Rather, our experience showed that some of them partner with smugglers and attack our officers. Whenever we make seizure in those axes, those volatile areas, we see them conniving with the smugglers to attack and even kill some of our personnel. Of recent, you heard at least in Kaduna, one of our vehicles was just burnt. We have suffered casualties, we have lost men and materials through the fight. But I believe the Nigerian border community should own up to the struggle against smuggling. Because if we complain of unemployment, complain of food sufficiency, then we should be talking of protecting our own. But instead of them giving us that support, you find that most of the time they fight us.
Yeah, they collude with them. But how are you managing the challenge now?
Yes, we are sensitizing them.
Are you talking to the leaders of those communities?
Yes, various community leaders, religious leaders, traditional rulers, we are sensitizing them. And a lot of them are cooperating.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, recently, the federal government banned importation of rice through the land borders and also raised the tariff on rice importation. Now, could it be true that many of the genuine importers, of rice have now turned to the idea of, engaging in smuggling to be able to get their business running? I ask this question actually, because the story has it that rice worth billions of dollars are stocked in so many warehouses in Benin Republic, for instance, waiting to be smuggled in.
Yes, it's just like what I said before. The genuine traders have nothing to fear. You see, no country, a country that is not self-sufficient in food to feed these people is not worth calling an independent country. That is the target of every government. That is why all these policies are meant to encourage local production. But the genuine importers, they know the duty rate is 10% and there is levy of 50%. That levy is supposed to be done so that our own local producers are not sent out of the market, because there is this unequal, the level of production there abroad in the Asian countries. And let me tell you, some of the countries subsidize the goods they send for export. And secondly, those that are being accumulated in Benin Republic. I told you we have intelligence reports whereby those rice that are being sent there, some have expired and they are no longer fit. So they are finding anywhere to dump them. So those who are dumping the rice there are not actually genuine traders in rice. Okay. There are people who are trying to harm us. And one of the reasons for the restriction to the seaport is because in the seaport you have NAFDAC that can certify these goods. You have standard organization that can ascertain the quality. So with that one, nobody can come and dump any rice through the seaport. There is control. It's a controlled environment. But in the border, there are so many rules. Yeah. If you go from Badagry to Idiroko up to Oyo, and then up to Sokoto, Kebbi, down to Katsina, Kaduna, you see that there is no how custom can adequately man
all of them. Now, a combination of factors actually accounts for this unhealthy trend. One of which is, of course, laxity of enforcement. I don't know, has it ever been brought to your notice that some of your men compromise their position in this business?
Thank you so much. You know, our Controller General came to, when he assumed duty, he came with 3 core mandates: reforms, restructuring, and raise of revenue. One of the cardinal pillars of those programs is zero tolerance to corruption. So along the line, any of our officers that is found wanting, is never spared. Just like any other organization, we cannot say we don't have bad eggs. We do have, but once they are uncovered, they are shown the way out. At least between last year and now, over 100 service personnel cutting across rank and file have been dismissed or terminated or reduced in rank. I think they were sanctioned. We don't condone those acts of indiscipline.
Okay, time is not on our side now, but let me just ask this last question. What about restricting importation of rice through free trade zones in Nigeria? Is it a possibility?
Yes, free trade zone, as you know, they operate on the principle of extraterritoriality. So it's a country within a country. Even if something is prohibited, it can come there, but it shouldn't go to Nigerian territory. So if you bring it to free trade zone, like some people are doing of recent, taking containers, hundreds of containers to free trade zone, can those rice be used there? Are they manufacturing it and using rice as raw material? So because when the service saw the magnitude of what they are bringing there, they suspected that what their intention would be is to smuggle it to Nigerian territory. So the CGC directed that such things should be stopped because they brought them to the port, they will not pay duty there, they will now escort them to the territory. Once they are escorted there, what happens thereafter is what we envisaged and we stopped it.
All right, I'd like to thank you at this point for being part of our program tonight. Thank you indeed, because of course your submissions has of course given us an idea of what you are doing, your mode of men are doing at our borders. Of course, the borders are still porous and something could be done about it in due course. Once again, thank you for coming. We appreciate your time. I have been speaking with Michael Abara, the Acting Controller of Enforcement at the Customs Headquarters here in Abuja. Now, sports and weather after this timeout. Don't go away.
The Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, is working to ensure access to safe, good quality essential medicines with the World Health Organization pre-qualification of made in Nigeria pharmaceutical products, stiffer penalties for fake drug offenders with a review of NAFDAC laws, national, regional, and international collaborations, cutting-edge technologies, including the mobile authentication service.
NAFDAC impacts upon everything we do, including water we drink, the food we eat. They are important organs to the development of this country. And everybody should come out and join them and support them and help them to achieve the greatest benefits and success that they need to the country.
Let us support NAFDAC to win the war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
So what's up, sweetheart? You really look like you're up to something.
I have a secret.
Okay.
I'll be going to Europe next week.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Like you have your visa, your passport, your plane ticket?
No, not that way. Some men are helping us. We pay them, they take us through the desert, and then we cross the sea into Europe.
The desert, the sea. Isn't that the route where many have died?
Yes, it is indeed a very dangerous journey. In 2016 alone, 4,900 people died while crossing the Mediterranean Sea to enter Europe. Many were Nigerians. For the very few who survived the journey, they are forced into prostitution or other crimes just to survive. Eventually, they will be arrested and deported to Nigeria. Don't be a victim. Don't go this way.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
The National Stadium Lagos, which was a place people were anxious to visit, is now in a shadow of its past. Members of the NTA flagship sports program, Sports Parliament, sought possible solutions to the poor state of the facility at the National Stadium in Lagos. Adiola Mokivi has the report.
When the National Stadium Surulere Lagos was constructed by the federal government in 1972, it had a capacity of 55,000. Years later, 1999 to be precise, it was reduced to 45,000 for better space management. However, for unknown reasons, the multi-purpose stadium has been left in a deplorable state since 2002. what led to the dilapidation of this multi-million naira national monument, and how can such monuments be upgraded in order to ensure that its purpose is holistically achieved. Members of a sports parliament from Abuja and Lagos studios, after speaking extensively by recalling their cherished memories of the National Stadium in the glory days, all acceded to the fact that concessioning of a sports edifice is the realistic solution.
And I imagine that whatever is federal government property on BP's table should come for open bidding.
The stadium is home to a lot of athletes that cannot have no other way to go and cannot afford to start paying.
There's a consensus on concession. We should go that way, but with care.
Let the document states that any stadium belonging to the federal government will fall within the same terms of reference.
In addition, they also called for the upgrading of the College of Physical Education, Afuze, now referred to as Michael Imodu College of Physical Education in Lagos. Adeyola Omokiwe, NTA News. The second technical training and workshop organized